All right, welcome back to Problem Solver Politics. I am your host, Cardinellis, with Cody the Oracle.
Hey, everybody.
And today we got a little bit of debate reaction. It looks like we're not the only ones reacting. Donald Trump has actually Snapchatted a couple of secciones, a couple of parts of Andrew Yang's debate performance last night. Looks like they agree on a couple of things. And we're going to see who the winners were, who the losers were, so on and so forth. Cody, tell us what's going on.
Well, last night, of course, was the big December debate for the last debate of 2019 for the prospective Democrat hopefuls. So we're looking at some of the reactions. Probably one of the biggest immediate takeaways from the debate that I saw, a lot of people were showing me on social media, was Donald Trump's official Snapchat account put this out. And then the Trump War Room tweeted this out, which as far as I understand, the Trump War Room is the official campaign Twitter account for Donald Trump. So let's take a look at this, and we'll get into more, but this was fascinating. So they tweet out, fact check, true. Americans don't trust the media networks to tell them the truth. Quote from Andrew Yang at the Dem debate. So I'll play the clip for you guys because you'll notice, same thing I noticed pretty quickly.
And Americans don't trust the media networks to tell them the truth.
Clearly mid-sentence, right? So the thing that's so interesting and fascinating about this, though, is they actually snipped that answer from Andrew Yang's answer on impeachment, when he was asked about what he thinks about the impeachment process and what's going on with it in this country. So I want to play a little bit of that answer right now for you guys as well, because this is what has stood out to a lot of people, just looking around, just taking the reactions as one of the kind of standout answers in the moments of the debate, kind of across party lines. A lot of people liked Andrew Yang's response here, so I'm going to run this for you guys real quick as well.
It's clear why Americans can't agree on impeachment. We're getting our news from different sources, and it's making it hard for us even to agree on basic facts. Congressional approval rating last I checked was something like 17%.
True. This is all
and
true.
Americans don't trust the media networks to tell them the truth.
Seems like a
The
good
media
cut.
networks didn't do us any favors by missing the reason why Donald Trump became our president in the first place. If you
Okay.
turn on cable network news today, you would think he's our president because of some combination of Russia, racism, Facebook,
Yeah, it's all true so
Hillary
far.
Clinton, and emails all mixed together. But Americans around the country no different.
And now he's
he blasted
pivoted to
away
the automation
4 million
argument.
manufacturing jobs that were primarily based in Ohio, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Missouri. I just left Iowa. We blasted 40,000 manufacturing jobs there. The more we act like Donald Trump is the cause of all of our problems, the more Americans lose trust that we can actually see what's going on in our communities and solve those problems.
Like this is all true. I
What we
don't
have to
feel
do
like
is we
the
have to
Snapchat was
stop
taken out of
being
context.
obsessed
Cody.
over impeachment, which unfortunately strikes many Americans like a ball game
Never
where you
said
know
it
what the
was,
score
by
is
the
going
way.
to be.
Just
And
I
start
wanted to show the
actually
full answer,
digging
so you
in
can
No,
and
it's just
solving
something
the
I'm sensitive
problems
to. I
that
don't like
got
when
Donald Trump
people
elected in the first place.
take cuts
We have to
out
take
of,
every
out
opportunity
of
to present a
context.
new positive vision for the country, a new way forward to help beat him in 2020, because make no mistake, he'll be there at the ballot box for us to defeat.
There we go. So
Yeah.
the reason I want to play the whole clip right there is because that was of the I was looking around trying to get the what is the big takeaway of the night. That was one of the standout answers that I saw a lot of people speaking about from Andrew Yang, and I think Van Jones said it in a CNN panel afterwards. He summed it up really well. He said that Andrew Yang kind of is what Pete Buttigieg is talking about, like being that kind of candidate who can come into things and look at stuff and look at the problems, have this kind of not like cheery optimistic, but this more not super dour deposition while still telling people there's real problems that have to be addressed here. He pointed out Mayor Pete got attacked a lot during this. The wine cave crushed him. He will never recover from these campaigns.
You can't live
done
that
by
kind
the
of
wine cave
thing down. You like Mitt Romney could never live down the wealthy billionaire who said 47%. The 47% comment crushed Mitt Romney.
Yeah, exactly.
And the wine cave crushed Pete Buttigieg.
Well, it's a soundbite, man. Like people can hold the wine cave against you basically forever.
Yeah.
But really quickly, back to what Donald Trump, and again, Trump War Room was basically his campaign account, tweeting out that Americans don't trust the media networks telling the truth and more from Andrew Yang at them debate. I think Andrew Yang giving an answer that the official Trump Twitter account clips to put up about Trump's impeachment, I think that shows that Andrew Yang really, like, well, my larger point is this was Andrew Yang answering the impeachment question he was being asked. And in that answer, he had a nugget that even the Donald Trump official campaign account found. Like, we like it. Like, so many people were pleased with his answer on this. That's why I wanted to play the whole thing for you guys so you guys can get a hear of it. Because that was really what stood out to a lot of people looking around. This idea, the whole performance. It was really good for Andrew Yang and a couple other candidates. But really, Andrew Yang stuck out the most, and I'll kind of get to, I think, why. It's something people have been talking about in all the debates.
Well, you notice
but I
he
think
didn't
it's just been
call.
looking at it a little bit weird.
He
a little bit
didn't
different.
go down the Donald Trump is a racist. His supporters are racist. You know, he avoided all that nonsense, which I think is it's A, accurate, and B, strategically beneficial. This is the kind of Andrew Yang answers that I like, where he threads these needles that need to be threaded in a way that makes people think, okay, he's not an antagonist to the right, you know, even though he is he is a Democrat. He's really like, this is a good faith answer. Like, this is what I really think when people say they want a citizen politician who's acting in good faith. This came across as a good faith answer.
Yeah, sure. I mean, like I said, it resonated with people. I thought was cool.
Yeah.
And then a couple things I wanted to highlight. Again, I could probably do a 50-minute video just going through various people on Twitter saying they like it, but I thought this was really cool. So, Doug Baldwin, I believe is he retired now? I guess, yes, he is now retired. Former Seattle Seahawks player, wide receiver. He's been a Yang Gang guy for a while. However, he tweeted out that during the debate, former teammate of his and former NFL player Jermaine Kearse, if you could see, also added a little blue hat to his name. So, I mean, I wish there was a way of tracking how many Twitter accounts added a blue hat to their Twitter name, but just locally, it was, I mean, looking around, man, it was a lot. So I wanted to highlight that, as well as another endorsement he got last night. The father of Twitter co-founder Jack Dorsey, Tim Dorsey, actually said, okay, Andrew Yang makes the most sense and believable ideas. So I'm
notice
I'm not
that
gonna
word
get into the
believable.
political backgrounds of people, but again, yeah, Andrew Yang resonated with people, and then that's going to get me, well, there's one more thing I want to show, and then we'll get into the point I want to make. Because like I said, I think one thing that was going on with this debate with Andrew Yang, I think it's something we've been kind of looking at, not backwards, but anyway, before we went too far, check out this answer. So PBS, after the debate, they have Andrew Yang, they get it for 50 seconds. And this is what PBS has to ask Andrew Yang. We'll play this right now.
That's right. Andrew Yang, thank you for joining us. Briefly, I want to ask you, this was the smallest debate so far. I asked this of Tom Steyer also. Do you feel like you got more time in this debate or no? Do you feel like you were able to do more? How do you feel about your performance?
Did we do good? Are you going to
I
lambast us
definitely feel
too?
like I got more of an opportunity to speak to the American people, so that was great. Still want more. Still believe there's a lot to my platform that people haven't heard about. My vision for the country and the fact that we're going through this fundamental economic transformation, but I thought it was certainly an upgrade from previous debates.
Okay,
An
thank you.
upgrade
I wish
from
we had more
previous
time, but we really appreciate it.
This is just like the debates. I'm just kidding.
Oh,
PBS
but
great.
it is.
Watch
That's
PBS
the
all
funny
time.
part is there's always truth in joking. Like, okay, we asked you the question about whether or not you can sue us or not, but we really don't care about you. So now that the lawsuit question is out of the way, then we're going to go and talk to the important people.
Now we got you on
Like,
record
I mean,
saying you're not
she
mad.
only
Moving on.
proved that the media still doesn't really take him seriously. They just want his activists to be off their backs.
Well, no, I think I think honestly, it's just PBS did not really seem the entire time to be super interested. Did not seem super aware or interested in Andrew Yang that much. So I think like they're like,
Well, and he didn't interject.
we got Andrew for like a minute. What do you want to ask him? Did we give you enough talk time? The reason why I wanted to bring that up, by the way, a lot of you guys already know this. If you take a look at the talk time of this debate, no surprise, Andrew Yang once again spoke way less than anyone. Like I said,
Like almost half
his
in
style
Sanders and Klobuchar.
trends down, but Amy Klobuchar was just asked an obscene amount of questions. The debate ran through Amy Klobuchar for God knows what reason. But this is what I want to talk about and kind of get to really highlight here. It's at the point where, to be honest, it didn't matter that Andrew spoke for 9.5 minutes, which was barely anything compared to anyone else. He was the person that when I see people do their tier lists of who did best in the debate, Andrew Yang is at the top of all things. I can bring up the metric, I believe. Hold on one second. I'll pull this up for you guys. I believe it was Zach Grumman, works the campaign manager for Andrew Yang. He tweeted out that the Google Trends, can't say that word by the way, showed that Andrew Yang wasn't one of the most searched for names as far as political candidates go. He was one of the most searched for things in the country after the debate.
Interesting.
Yes. Here we go. But this is it. This is the Twitter followers. No, I'm going to pull this up for you guys. Here we go. Here was the top 5 trends on, I'm going to move my screen so you guys can see it, on Google during the time of the debate. And look at it. It's ASAP Rocky, Cats the movie, J.K. Rowling, Lakers Bucks, one of the biggest basketball games of the season so far. And then you see Andrew Yang. Again, he wasn't popular amongst the fellow candidates on the stage. He was popular amongst the discussion
people
in America.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to get into the wording. I don't want to get banned. But look at what that first thing people were searching for with A$AP Rocky was. You think celebrity gossip like that gets Google searches? And you go down the biggest basketball game of the year so far, and then you get to Andrew Yang, man. I mean, like, it really is not something to overlook. I would say that amount of impact of, like, he became part of the cultural discussion, not the political discussion.
Well, there's
night.
also
and that's good, man. That's winning a debate. Sorry, I don't want to over. I want to get that across. Like, he interjected into the entire national discussion about just culture in this country. Like I said, we're talking about Cats the movie. J.K. Rowling, by the way, is an English author with a big English controversy going on right now. Lakers Bucks is a sporting event. And then what's the first thing Americans are talking about when they get past that stuff and they start getting into politics? It was Andrew Yang the other night. Very, very, very important. And again, the only reason I bring it up, it kind of brings into question, how much does talk time matter? Amy Klobuchar was nowhere near the top of that list in Google Trends at all. But the debate ran through her. I don't know. I just want to get, how much does this time actually matter, right?
I think it matters to a certain point. Like, this is what I would say. This is the first debate where I feel like Andrew Yang got enough talk time so that he was making an indelible impression upon the viewer. Okay, where it really felt, instead of being a sideshow, he was a participant in the debate. Okay, and I think there is this thing of the law of diminishing returns. Okay, Andrew Yang does need to get better at interjecting, and he does need to learn how to kind of butt in and say what he has to say in very concise and well-measured words so that he shows he can compete on that national stage. At the same time, just because you got the most talk time does not mean you're the winner. In fact, oftentimes it can work against you. There's lots of data that shows the sweet spot for a candidate for the presidency is somebody who has been in office or in the national spotlight for 7 to 14 years. But if you've been an elected official for more than 14 years, then it actually starts working against you and people start perceiving you as part of the problem instead of the solution, okay? So I do believe talk time in debates is very similar to service time in national forms of office, okay? Where you need to get past a certain threshold or else people don't think you're experienced. You need to get a certain amount of talk time and you need to interject a certain amount of time or else people just view you as a sideshow or as just a body on stage. But as long as you pass that threshold, okay, you're in the realm and in the ballpark of those we take seriously. And at that point, then you're playing a different game, making sure that what you say is impactful so you don't end up looking like somebody who's an attention hog and just rambling on stage. And this is the first debate where I really think that needle was threaded. I would have liked to see him interject more, but I think he did well enough for it to be considered a positive and a victory for his campaign.
No, yeah, sure.
So here's my question for you. Who do you think won the debate? We talked about this in the live stream last night, but not everybody was able to watch the live stream. So I'm just curious, what do you think the biggest takeaways from the debate were, most memorable moments, and then who do you think won the debate?
I guess I'll get into memorable moments first. I'm just gonna flash this on screen really quickly. Not super important, but it is the follower counts who gained the most Twitter followers during the debate. I always think it's interesting. It's always Andrew Yang. I guess not always Andrew Yang. There was times where like nobody was following Jay Inslee, so he gained a couple 100,000 followers during the debate. But
yeah,
that, and then as far as what stood out to me, I would say the amount that this debate, because once they got into policy and stuff, it really came, the policy stuff that really comes is where these debates come apart at the seams because they don't do a good enough job moderating it. So temperament's really what comes across in these debates for me. And Andrew Yang's temperament showed really highly. I mean, Amy Klobuchar handled the constant shaking. And it's like, no offense to Amy Klobuchar. I'd imagine how nerve-wracking a debate is when your campaign's hanging in the balance. But seeing someone go up there and look like absolutely petrified for 3 hours, it doesn't give me confidence in them. Pete Buttigieg, I still feel like we're one debate away from Pete Buttigieg like slamming his hand on the table and just raising his voice in a really awkward manner. You know what I mean? Just losing cool for a second. So he didn't come across that great. I think it was Van Jones who started. Said he kind of started off as regular cool Mayor Pete, but then after like the 9th or 10th attack, you could tell he was getting into this.
He's like, you're not supposed to attack me. I'm one of the good guys. Like, actually, he has a big problem with that. Remember the protesters?
No, I wouldn't even say
where
that.
He literally said, that's really mean. I'm here to help you.
Well,
this does not compute.
Well, do you remember what the protesters were saying about him when he said that?
Yeah, it was Wall Street Pete.
No, it was not Wall Street Pete. It was Pete Buttigieg wants to kill kids. That's what they were saying. And he's like, I don't want to kill kids. So I will give Pete Buttigieg the leeway to defend himself from being accused of wanting to kill kids. I will give him that leeway. Probably just got this video
To me, I just
demonetized,
think
by the way,
now
for
that
bringing
just comes with the territory.
Okay, whatever. Larger point is, I thought that the temperament, like the person who seemed like somebody who came out of it, who didn't survive the debate, but got to get their points across and get out of it fine, was Andrew Yang. It felt like a lot of other people were hanging on to survive a debate. When Joe Biden at the end started raising his voice to the part where you could hear his echo in the chamber, it's not good when you do that, by the way. Kind of awkward, it's kind of weird. People get freaked out. But that was him responding to Bernie Sanders' Medicare for All plan and how he was going to pay for it and stuff like that. When people did try to get into policy, things got too heated and the moderators didn't do anything about it, so everyone got awkwarded out. So temperament-wise, Yang did good. As far as winners and losers, I don't like to say winners and losers. I don't know if Amy, spoiler alert, in our next video coming up, will be at the next debate already. She's already qualified. I have to feel like if she hadn't already qualified, this performance would not have helped her qualify for the next. You know what I mean? Like, Amy Klobuchar got overexposed. I guess going back to your point, she's talked too much, right, and got overexposed. Mm-hmm. So I would say I think she had a pretty. I mean, it's good.
Well, she picked a fight with Buttigieg, and he counterpunched her.
A lot. And then I would say Bernie just kind of held water. It was one of his weaker performances, though, as far as Bernie goes. Like, there was no like, wow, Bernie had anything bad. Like, it was pretty much what I expect from Bernie Sanders in these debates. He more or less did what I expected. It was one of his weaker ones. He didn't have that many standout moments. So I would say. But like again, I didn't feel like Bernie was trying to survive this debate either. It kind of felt like Joe Biden, Amy Klobuchar, and Elizabeth Warren in particular were trying to survive this debate. And then Tom Steyer might as well have not been there. No flame. I don't even dislike Tom Steyer that much. It's just anything that isn't climate related, Tom Steyer's got really weak answers on. Like, he just doesn't have a whole lot of backing into it. I mean, they asked him about Israeli settlements in Palestine, and he basically just said, well, I don't know. So, I don't know. Kind of long, but like I said, as far as winners, I don't know who would win the debate, but it isn't a good look to look like you're hanging on for dear life at these debates, and that's what I got out of Warren, Klobuchar, and Biden, particularly.
Okay. Yeah, I mean...
How about you, man? Who do you think won?
Pretty similar, to be honest with you. For me, though, my first impression was Buttigieg did, just because he effectively counterpunched everybody that punched at him. And oftentimes I feel like debates, especially arguments over philosophy or politics, are oftentimes like a ping pong match where one person lobs this attack, and then as long as you get it back over the fence at them, now the audience is looking at them. And we don't have enough time to actually process what the person says and fact check what the person says and things like that. It's almost like bears when they bluff charge you. You know what I'm saying? That as long as you can launch the counterattack in an effective way, now all of a sudden the ball's in that other person's court. And the first person to fumble is perceived as the loser. And then we fact check everything later. But by then the theatrical victory is already won. And in political theater, that's what matters. And Klobuchar went at Buttigieg. He clapped back. She went back at him. He clapped back, and then she fumbled her response. Therefore, he wins.
Yeah, but then also, remember, the debate didn't end there. It kept going till it got to a point where people.
Yeah, but Elizabeth Warren went after her. I'll just tell you right now.
By the end of the debate, no one really looked that good.
But was
anyone
not
attacking each other looked bad?
Was not his line against Klobuchar? You want to talk about the willingness to win? I won as a gay dude in Mike Pence's Indiana.
He ran.
Or I ran and won my election as a gay dude in because he won re-election already having been out.
I think he was talking about either way.
He was talking about a second mayoral election.
Yeah, Amy didn't have a response,
and she didn't have a response. And she fumbled it. So I would say that created a very memorable moment, and then his defense against Elizabeth Warren created a very memorable moment and put her on her heels. And Andrew Yang had some very memorable moments, including when he said, like, what? To somebody's question. Like, what would you like to ask forgiveness for in today's debate?
He did have the best response.
He literally was like, what?
Yeah, he basically just like, well,
you just asked Mother Teresa if she needs to ask forgiveness from somebody, you know? Like, what?
Well, it kind of just felt more like a really, 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 really
bad question.
awkward delivery. I wasn't going to originally pull this up because I kind of honestly forgot about it. It was so stupid. But I'm going to play it for you guys. If anyone who missed the debate, this was their token. We're going to ask you something. Like, remember when they asked Hillary and Trump, like, what do you guys
Like, what do you guys like about each other?
The thing is, there's become like this token we have to ask and I'm sure it goes beyond that first question, but like, we have to ask the question now. It's kind of like, it's almost kind of like, no offense, but it's like the youth pastor thing. Now we're going to have some fun, guys. I got a question that's not related to politics. And it's just like, oh my God, this is so much worse than just staying on topic. Anyway, here we go. Here's the question and the answer from Andrew Yang.
But in the spirit of the season, I'd like to ask each one of you, is there someone else among these candidates that you have two options. One, a candidate from whom you would ask forgiveness for something maybe that was said tonight or another time, or a candidate to whom you would like to give a gift. And I'm going to start with you, Mr. Yang.
Wow.
That's so stupid.
That's the best part. That's when he gets the ovation. When he goes to give the answer, just can't start talking without laughing because it's a stupid question.
We could do a labor action and just all go on strike on this one, Andrew.
I don't think I have much to ask forgiveness for. You all can correct me on this. In terms of a gift, Elizabeth has done me the honor of starting to read my book.
Yes.
I would love to give each of you a copy of my book.
That was
It's
actually
about
a
how
good
we're going
answer.
through the greatest economic transformation in our country's history, the fourth industrial revolution. It is grinding up our communities, and DC is out to lunch on this. Our media organizations are not covering it adequately. I wrote a book on it, and if you like data, this book is for you. This goes to the people.
I apologize.
That was good. That was
my
great.
standout moment of the debate. I don't know how it slipped my mind. That was my standout moment. Andrew Yang making a mockery of the entire thing. Literally being unable to speak without laughing. That's one of the best ways to respond to a question is when you open your mouth and immediately start laughing because it's so ridiculous what is being asked of you. So that...
Well, yeah, so I'd say Buttigieg.
I think he fell more than that.
Okay, well, look, I would say winners. I don't think there was an individual winner, but I think Buttigieg walked out of this very positively. I think Joe Biden did because he maintained the status quo. A victory for him is when it appears like there's chaos in stage and people will go back on him as a security choice. So the more chaos there is amongst candidates, the more candidates that are on stage, the more silly or boring that something is, the better off he is. So Joe Biden walked away with a win. Pete Buttigieg, I'd say, walked away with a win. Andrew Yang, I think, walked away with a win. And to a certain extent, even though she lost to Pete Buttigieg in all of her little battles, I think Amy Klobuchar walked away with a little bit of a win because she got so much talk time that made her come across as moderate. Twice she interjected when there was chaos on the other side of the stage and said something that made her look like a moderate voice, kind of like the voice of reason, the adult in the room. So I think especially for the boomer demographic that she does well in and votes in very high percentages, I think she walked away with a victory. So those are the four winners I'd say that there was.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I thought you made a pretty good case earlier when you said that when you talk too much, you kind of overexpose yourself in these debates. I thought that happened to all the people.
She reached the point of overexposure when she went on the attack.
But same with Buttigieg and Buttigieg as well. Same thing. You got to talk.
Yeah, but she's dying and she needed the extra exposure.
I will say one thing.
She shot for the moon and she got it.
While that moment where Amy Klobuchar could only stammer in response stuck out to us, I have seen no one else mention it. It was weird. I thought more people would talk about it than they did, but no one's really talking about that. Stuck out to me.
Well, it's not the first time we have been.
It was a bad response from Klobuchar, but I think it just ultimately, in the grand scheme of things, because of how bad the debate went for everyone after that, just kind of faded away.
I think it's because most people tuned out by the time that happened. That wasn't like the last third of the debate, wouldn't you say?
Right in the middle.
It was right in the middle. Well, I bet you 90% of the people tuned out by the middle as well.
No one watched the debate.
Because we were struggling by the 50% mark, Cody. So if we, the dedicated professionals that we are, were struggling, I can't even imagine how the duty-driven layman must have just said, "I'm going to watch that Bucks game."
I will say, running it up against Thursday, I think it was Thursday football last night. I haven't heard of a football game, but running it up against stuff like that's a really bad idea.
All right.
I mean, Lakers Bucks didn't know Lakers Bucks was going to be the game it ended up being as far as records in the past. But yes, like big news there in the way.
Follow us on Twitter, so make sure that you follow us at PSP Radio 1. Always make sure that you can, hopefully, if you got time, Like and share and subscribe to our channel. Share this video with your friends. Call us on the phone if you want to leave us a voicemail. Anything Yang, we'll talk it with you. That's 1-833-PSP radio. Other than that, this has been awesome. This is Problem Solver Politics. We will see you in the next video.